Or the ones you can't find. I think he is loading it, and will notify us as soon as we are on the air. Thank you all for your participation in our earlier discussions and committee work. James, are we up? We are on the air? Okay, we are on the air. Good evening. This is the quarterly legislative meeting of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation of February 24th, 2011. If we could have our roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett.
Shoda.
Vice Chairman Capps.
Shoda.
Secretary Treasurer Trousdale. Shoda. Representative Slavin.
Shoda.
Representative Eva Marie Carney.
Shoda.
Representative Whistler.
Shoda.
Representative Adame.
Shoda.
Representative Lambert. Absent. Representative Payne.
Shoda.
Representative Johnson.
Shoda.
Representative Dave Carney.
Shoda.
Representative Wesselholt.
Shoda.
Representative Barrett.
Shoda.
Representative Kraft.
Shoda.
Representative Spindlecoffer.
Shoda.
Representative Bowden.
Shoda.
15 present, 1 absent.
We have a quorum, and the chair would entertain a motion to waive the minutes, reading of the minutes of the previous meeting on November 3rd, 2010. Motion by Representative Spindlecoffer, seconded by Representative Wesselhoff. Roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett.
Koenigay.
Vice Chairman Capps.
Koenigay.
Secretary Treasurer Trousdale. Koenigay. Representative Slavin.
Koenigay.
Representative Eva Carney.
Koenigay.
Representative Whistler. Representative Whistler.
Koenigay.
Representative Adame.
Koenigay.
Representative Payne.
Koenigay.
Representative Johnson.
Koenigay.
Representative Dave Carney.
Koenigay.
Representative Wesselholt.
Koenigay.
Representative Barrett.
Koenigay.
Representative Kraft.
Koenigay.
Representative Spindlecoffer.
Koenigay.
Representative Bowden.
Koenigay.
15 in favor, 1 absent.
15 in favor, 1 absent. It is approved. I want to notify the legislators that in the interest of time in the conduct of the meeting, I am doing this with open microphones. If in your location there is a need because of background noise or for some other reason that we need to adjust that microphone setting, hold up a single finger. I'll address that with our controls here. Otherwise, we are all on the air simultaneously. First item on the agenda is second item of business is Resolution 1125 RNG. I'm sorry, 35 RNG. This is a bill that came out of the Rules and Government Committee. This question is, shall the Citizen Potawatomi Nation Legislature approve a resolution designating the following individuals as co-signatories for Indian Preference Form BIA 4432? Secretary Treasurer Trousdale, do you want to read that into the record?
Sure. Has authorized those tribes who have contracted funds for the maintenance of tribal enrollment records under Public Law 638 to complete and sign BIA-4432 forms, verification of Indian preference for employment. And whereas tribes are required to submit resolutions stating the names and titles of individuals authorized to sign BIA-4432. Carney. Dave.
Koenigay. Koenigay.
Representative Wesselholt.
Koenigay.
Representative Barrett.
Koenigay.
Representative Kraft.
Koenigay.
Representative Spindlecoffer.
Koenigay.
Representative Bowden.
Koenigay.
14 in favor, 2 absent.
14 in favor, 2 absent. It is approved. Can you hear me, Teresa? There we go. We don't have your sound yet, Teresa. Can you hear me? Try unmuting your mic. Try that, Teresa. Do we have sound? No, we don't have sound. James, if we don't have sound from Teresa, if you would help me get back to that self-view screen. Okay, how do I get that? Yeah, one right there. Where we had the double picture there.
Oh,
Yeah, we had a double picture of it. So take camera wide off.
yeah, probably.
Try that. All right, then I'm going to go to 5. See. Until we get your sound, if you could thumb up or thumb down. Okay, because...
I will.
Oh, there, we got your sound. If you'll talk so we can tell whether your mic's on.
Can test the microphone, please?
We can hear you. Okay, we're back.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Teresa, Representative Adame, how do you vote on 11-35-R and G?
Yes.
15 in favor, 1 absent.
15 in favor, 1 absent. It is approved. Next is Resolution 1137-NR. This is a resolution providing for the purchase of the balance of trust interests in the CP 945 Joseph Welch allotment under for sale conditions and providing for application of the Regional Director of the Bureau of Indian Affairs for such sale. These are the interests that we cannot locate and find the people, or our interests, I believe these are entirely interests. We currently own 91%, I believe. There is a 9% of the interest we cannot locate, and so we are asking for an appraisal and purchase to be held by the Bureau of Indian Affairs if and when these folks are available. If you could read the bill into the record, please, Secretary Treasurer Trousdale.
Resolution 11-36-NR, a resolution approving the purchase of undivided trust or non-trust interest in certain trust allotments within the boundaries of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation. First 3 whereas are the same as read in the previous resolution. Fourth whereas, the Citizen Potawatomi Nation is seeking to expand its trust land holdings, and whereas within the boundaries of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation lie 46 parcels of original allotments still in trust status, and whereas frequently the opportunity to purchase undivided interest in such trust allotments arises, and whereas CPN is interested in purchasing such undivided interest in surface rights, mineral rights, or non-trust interest in the furtherance of self-determination, economic development, and for the betterment of tribal members, and whereas the purchase of such interest is in keeping with the spirit and intent of the American Indian Probate Reform Act and the Land Consolidation Act with its several amendments, and now therefore be it resolved by the legislature of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation that a resolution supporting the purchase of undivided interest in the attached listed allotments is hereby approved.
Thank you. I stand corrected, Secretary Treasurer Trousdale. This is 36. 37. It does not apply to the Welch interests. Is there discussion on the bill? We had prior discussion earlier in Committee of the Whole. Chair will entertain a motion to approve the resolution as read. So, motion by Vice Chairman Linda Capps. Is there a second? Second by Teresa Adame. Representative Adame. Was that a finger for shut my mic off, or was that?
No, that was a second.
Okay. I should have had a different signal for the mic off, because some folks are going to vote. In the event you need your sound off because of business there, if you could indicate that you need, point towards your ear that you need this sound off, that would give me a hint. Or say turn the sound off, that'd probably work too. So.
I like that
We have motion made and seconded. Roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett.
Donegay.
Vice Chairman Capps.
Donegay.
Secretary Treasurer Troutdale. Donegay. Representative Slavin.
Donegay.
Representative Eva Marie Carney.
Donegay.
Representative Whistler.
Donegay.
Representative Adame.
Donegay. Donegay.
Representative Payne.
You get.
Yeah.
Okay.
Representative Johnson.
Donegay.
Representative Dave Carney.
Donegay.
Representative Wesselhoff. Representative Barrett. Representative Kraft.
Cho.
Representative Spindlecoffer. Representative Bowden.
Donegay.
14 in favor, 1 opposition, 1 absent.
It is approved. Next item on the agenda is the previously described acquisition of the remaining small interest in CP 945 Joseph Welch allotment. Chair will entertain a motion to approve the. I'm sorry. We'll read the bill into the resolution into the record, please. Secretary Treasurer Troutdale.
Resolution 11-37-NR. A resolution providing for the purchase of the balance of trust interest in the CP 945 Joseph Welch allotment under for sale conditions and providing for application to the Regional Director of the BIA for such sale. First 3 whereas is read in previous resolution. The 4th whereas, it is in keeping with the spirit and intent of the American Indian Probate Reform Act and the Land Consolidation Act and its several revisions for the tribal government to force the sale of the remaining undivided interest in CP 945 to the tribal government, and whereas the Citizen Potawatomi Nation owns 86.8% of the interest in the parcel and the balance 13.16% is in probate or owned by 22 persons either of unknown whereabouts who have not responded to attempts to contact them or who have expressed an unwillingness to sell to the nation, and whereas Title 25 Indian Section 2204, Paragraph A-2, required consent makes provision and gives authority for tribes to purchase under forced sale such parcels, and whereas it will add to the health, safety, and general welfare of the nation for such forced sale to take place, and now therefore be resolved by the legislature of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation that a resolution providing for the purchase of CP 945 Joseph Welch allotment under for sale conditions and providing for application to the Regional Director of the BIA for such sale is hereby approved.
Is there discussion? Chair will entertain a motion to approve the resolution as read. Motion made by Representative Bobby Bowden. Is there a second? Second by Representative Eva Carney. Roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett.
Donegay.
Vice Chairman Capps.
Donegay.
Secretary Treasurer Trousdale. Donegay. Representative Slavin.
Donegay.
Representative Eva Marie Carney.
Honegay.
Representative Whistler.
Conagay.
Representative Adame.
Honegay.
Representative Payne.
Conagay.
Representative Johnson.
Conagay.
Representative Dave Carney.
Conagay.
Representative Wesselhoff. Representative Barrett. Representative Kraft. Representative Schmidelkoffer. Representative Bowden. 15 in favor, 1 absent.
15 in favor, 1 absent. It is approved. Next item on the agenda is Resolution 1139 NR out of the Natural Resources Committee. If you could read that. 38. Next is out of the Natural Resources Committee, 1138 RSNR. If you could read that into the record, please, Secretary Treasurer Trousdale.
Resolution 11-38-NR. A resolution authorizing an application for funding to the United States Department of Health and Human Services, Administration for Children and Families, Administration for Native Americans under the fiscal year 2011 Environmental Regulatory Enhancement Program, announcement in furtherance of the Sisseton Potawatomi Nation goal to manage and control the waters within its sovereign jurisdiction. First three whereas are the same as read in the previous resolution. The fourth whereas, it is a goal of the Sisseton Potawatomi Nation to develop a comprehensive water resources plan to manage and control the waters within its borders. And whereas the Sisseton Potawatomi Nation has made significant progress towards development of such plan, however, there are technical studies that are crucial for planned completion to ensure that projections for social and economic development utilizing water resources are reliable and credible. And whereas this Administration for Native American has funding available for projects that support the development, enforcement, and monitoring of tribal environmental quality regulatory programs, and such funding is needed to assist the Sisseton Potawatomi Nation in furtherance of its goal for management of tribal water resources. And whereas the Sisseton Potawatomi Nation, in support of the grant request, is committing an amount not to exceed $75,000 in the form of cash and or in-kind match to support the fiscal year 2011 grant request to the Administration for Native Americans. Now therefore be it resolved by the legislature of the Sisseton Potawatomi Nation that a resolution supporting the Sisseton Potawatomi Nation's application for funding to the Administration for Native Americans Environmental Regulatory Enhancement Program is hereby approved. Now therefore be it further resolved that by act of this resolution and consistent with the separation of powers defined in the Constitution, if awarded, an appropriation of up to $375,000 from the 2011 ANA Environmental Regulatory Enhancement or other applicable accounts for this implementation, negotiation, operation, enforcement, procurement, settlement, and or completion of this contract, compact, regulation, or agreement by the tribal chairman or his designate is hereby authorized.
These bills are proposed resolutions for new grant money toward the development of a comprehensive water plan for the nation, which we need given the pending actions by the state towards a water plan that does not include recognition of tribal water prior appropriation rights. The applications would result in one grant only and have a matching of approximately $75,000. The nation has some preliminary work done on a water rights study by Representative Lisa Kraft when she was an employee here about 10 years ago, and there has been no further work done. So we really need to update that study. This actions by the state are becoming apparent that we are going to need to defend our water rights, treaty water rights, sooner than later. Where are we on Chair will entertain a motion to approve Resolution 1138. Motion by Representative Dave Barrett, second by Representative Lisa Kraft. Roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett.
Conagay.
Vice Chairman Capps.
Conagay.
Secretary Treasurer Trousdale. Conagay. Representative Slavin.
Conagay.
Representative Eva Marie Carney.
Honegay.
Representative Whistler.
Conagay.
Representative Adame.
Okay.
Representative Payne. Representative Johnson. Representative Dave Carney.
Corrigan.
Did you get it? Something?
Yes.
How many? 15 in favor.
Representative Wesselhoff.
Corrigan.
Representative Barrett.
Corrigan.
Representative Kraft.
Corrigan.
Representative Smilkofer.
Corrigan.
Representative Bowden.
Corrigan.
15 in favor, 1 absent.
15 in favor, 1 absent. It is approved. Next is Resolution 1139, NR. If you could read that into the record, please. Secretary Treasurer Trout.
Resolution 11-39-NR, a resolution authorizing an application for funding to the United States Department of Health and Human Services, Administration for Children and Families, Administration for Native Americans under the fiscal year 2011 Social and Economic Development Tribal Governance Program. Announcement in furtherance of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation goal to manage and control the waters within its sovereign jurisdiction. First three whereas are same as read in the previous resolution. The fourth whereas, it is the goal of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation to develop a comprehensive water resource plan to manage and control the waters within its borders. And whereas the Citizen Potawatomi Nation has made significant progress towards development of such plan, however, crucial technical studies are needed for plan completion to ensure the projections for social and economic development utilizing water resources are reliable and credible. And whereas the Administration for Native Americans has funding available for projects that support strengthening tribal government capacity to govern local resources within their communities, and such funding is needed to assist the Citizen Potawatomi Nation in furtherance of its goal for management of tribal water resources. And whereas the Citizen Potawatomi Nation, in support of grant request, is committing an amount not to exceed $75,000 in form of cash or in-kind match to support the fiscal year 2011 grant request to the American Native Americans, Administration for Native Americans. This is verbiage. Is it not?
It's two different agencies, but
Two different agencies. Okay. Now therefore be it resolved by the legislature of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation that a resolution supporting the Citizen Potawatomi Nation's application for funding to the Administration for Native American Social and Economic Development Tribal Governance Program is hereby approved. Now therefore be it further resolved that by act of this resolution and consistent with the separation of powers defined in the Constitution, if awarded, an appropriation of up to $375,000 from the 2011 ANA SEDS Comprehensive Water Plan or other applicable accounts for the implementation, negotiation, operation, enforcement, procurement, settlement, and or completion of this contract, compact, regulation, or agreement by the tribal chairman or his designate is hereby authorized.
is there discussion? Chair would entertain a motion to approve the resolution as read. Motion made by Representative Lisa Kraft. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Chairman Linda Capps. Roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett.
Konigay.
Vice Chairman Capps.
Corrigan.
Secretary Treasurer Trousdale. Konigay. Representative Slavin.
Corrigan.
Representative Eva Marie Carney.
Corrigan.
Representative Whistler.
Corrigan.
Representative Adame.
We lost her again.
Oops, we got it back. We got it back.
Representative Adame. Thank you. Representative Payne.
Corrigan.
Representative Johnson.
Corrigan.
Representative Dave Carney.
Corrigan.
Representative Wesselhoff.
Konigay.
Representative Barrett.
Konigay.
Representative Kraft.
Corrigan.
Representative Smilkofer.
Konigay.
Representative Bowden.
Corrigan.
15 in favor, 1 absent.
Next item on the agenda is a resolution approving a free-to-trust acquisition to the BIA on the on-reservation non-gaming trust acquisition of the Mary Lou Knight property. With the indulgence of the legislature, it has been our practice in the past to read the metes and bounds description of the property, which is several pages long to describe the property. All of you have that metes and bounds description in the documentation in front of you. In the interest of brevity, we could read the bill in, and if each of you would indicate that your vote is also indicative of your agreement to the meets and bounds portion being waived, reading into the record. Representative Eva Marie Carney.
Thank you, Chairman. I just wanted to point out that I don't believe we're online, as I have my iPad up and I don't see a stream.
When did we
Nor
go
does
off? Yeah, when did we go
Before
off?
we ever came online.
We never came online?
Now, I've been watching the internet and thought I would hear it, Liz.
We're not on, James.
One of my constituents just emailed.
Well,
James.
we're going back to the server to see what's happening.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I thought we were on. Where are we here?
James.
All right, this is Resolution 1141 or 1140 NR on the Mary Lou Knight property. If you could read that into the record, please, Secretary Treasurer Trousdale.
Resolution 11-40-NR, a resolution approving a fee to trust acquisition application to the Bureau of Indian Affairs and request for trust acquisition of the non-gaming on-reservation Mary Lou Knight property. First three whereas are the same as read in the previous resolution. Fourth whereas, the Citizen Potawatomi Nation is making application to the Southern Plains Regional Office of the Bureau of Indian Affairs to request transfer of fee simple title to the United States of America in trust for the Citizen Potawatomi Nation. And whereas the legislature believes that increasing the tribal land base furthers the pursuit of tribal self-determination and allows future generations of tribal leaders to have the flexibility to use the land for the health, welfare, and sovereignty of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation. And whereas Section 5 of the Indian Reorganization Act of June 18, 1934 provides authority for the fee to trust acquisition. And whereas the property is on reservation or within the former reservation boundaries of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation, legally described in Attachment A and listed in the Potawatomi County Treasurer's records as parcel ID number 0000-340-004-021-000 Mary Lou Knight Tract. And whereas the property was purchased with tribal funds for non-gaming use, and whereas the Citizen Potawatomi Nation owns the surface rights to the property in fee simple, and the land is currently not under lease, and whereas the current land use is government services and the proposed land use is government services, and whereas there are improvements and the property has ingress and egress for adequate traffic services, the proposed land use is government services and is necessary to facilitate tribal self-determination and government services. Now therefore be it resolved by the legislature of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation that a resolution supporting the fee to trust acquisition application to the Southern Plains Regional Office of the Bureau of Indian Affairs and trust acquisition of the Mary Lou Knight property is hereby approved.
Chairman, I have a question.
Yes,
What's
Representative Barrett.
from this pictorial that you have, what separates the two tracts of land?
This has been a problem with the Knight property. The river channel, the little triangle on the map, and then the angle piece. The original property was described in the original allotment that was granted was a lot rather than an allotted tract. It was called a river lot, and the description was the bank of the river as of 18 then I think it was 87. The river, of course, has moved half a mile south, but the two tract intersection point, see all the land behind it? Yeah, but that green area right in there behind it, all of that came into this tract post-1925, and there's some portion of it that came into the tract in the 40s. From the original allotment description, we did We took out all the pieces of the Mary Knight property that are part of the accretion issues and did just the ones that we had a firm description without any kind of title dispute, because the solicitor's office doesn't like to handle issues of the river moving. So that space is in there because of the channel of the river.
Okay, that land is not, that little small triangle is not landlocked. We have access to it
Yes, we did.
via the parallel lines there.
And as a matter of fact, I think I believe that property is already in trust, isn't it? This piece?
Oh, across the road.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm wrong.
No.
I'm wrong. I'm completely wrong. That is the railroad right-of-way of the Ada-Atoka Railroad, as it was described in the original deed. That Brangus and Hardesty, that little piece right there is the old railroad right-of-way. See up on the right, where it keeps on going in the upper right corner? That went to Ada.
There were two separate deeds on that. That's why it's separated.
There's a little triangle that we own, pretty much the same thing, that was down on the south side of Hardesty, west side of Brangus, that was cut by that passage of that railroad right away. And that wasn't the right of way, I'm sorry, that was actually deeded land to the railroad. So we ended up with the split deeds. Any other questions? Yes, Eve Marie Carney.
What is our plan for use of this property?
We plan on relocating the housing authority to this property and using the housing authority's headquarters for the relocation of the mental health department in the clinic in order to provide additional capacity for an expansion of the dentist's office in the main clinic. Right now we've been wanting private quarters for the psychologists and psychiatrists, and proximity of Bob Carlisle's building is the best spot, and so we'll be moving the housing offices to this property. It has a big barn and maintenance building that is ideal for their equipment storage, and it's a beautiful piece of land, really pretty piece of property.
Isn't the home just like less than 5 years old?
Well, less than 10 years.
Less than 10 years old. She bought it after we bought the main night place. Yeah, that's the current plan. The acquisition is primarily with HUD money, housing authority money.
And Mr. Carlisle was approved 3 years ago to build a new facility for his housing headquarters, and he just hasn't gotten around to it, but he found this and it's perfect. And that's close to 30 acres, 27 or 28 acres. He will eventually build houses there for probably elders or rental housing.
Fantastic, thank you.
We'll call the question. Chair, entertain a motion to approve the resolution as read.
Second.
Motion made by Representative Schmittlehofer, seconded by Representative Barrett. Roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett.
Koenig.
Vice Chairman Capps.
Koenig.
Secretary Treasurer Trauzer. Koenig. Representative Slavin.
Koenig.
Representative Eva Marie Carney. Representative Whistler. Representative Adame.
Lost the sound on everyone.
Representative Payne.
Koenig.
Representative Johnson. Representative Dave Carney.
Lost the sound on all of them.
Representative Wesselhoff.
When you get
Representative Barrett.
Conigan.
Representative Kraft. Representative Spillkofer. Representative Bowden. 15 in favor, 1 absent.
James, we lost sound on everyone but Representative Payne. Representative Slavin, if you could say yes.
Yes.
Okay, we got your sound back. Representative Carney, if you could say yes. We don't have your sound. Bob could make it say yes. Mic test is what we're after. Microphone test. Teresa.
Yes, test.
Okay, we got Bob. We got you back. Representative Adame, we don't have your sound. Representative Payne.
Yes.
Okay, we have yours. Representative Johnson.
Yes.
Representative Dave Carney.
Yes.
Okay, we have everyone but Representative Adame. One more time, if you could mic test.
We don't have either.
Eva, we could try yours.
Good evening.
We have you back. Representative Adame, we could try yours.
Yes.
Okay, everyone's back on the sound system. Next is Resolution 1141 NR, a resolution approving the Feeder Trust acquisition application to the Bureau of Indian Affairs and requesting trust acquisition of the on-reservation non-gaming French 2 property. If you could read that into the record, please, Secretary Treasurer Trousdale.
Resolution 11-41-NR, a resolution approving a fee to trust acquisition application to the Bureau of Indian Affairs and request for trust acquisition of the non-gaming on-reservation French 2 property. The first 6 whereases are the same as read in the previous resolution. The 7th whereas, the property is on reservation or within former reservation boundaries of the Sisseton Potawatomi Nation, legally described in Attachment A and listed in the Potawatomi County Treasurer records as parcel ID number 4215-000-004-010-000-000 French 2 tract. And whereas the property was purchased with tribal funds for non-gaming use, and whereas the Sisseton Potawatomi Nation owns the surface rights to the property in fee simple, and the land is currently not under lease, and whereas the current land use is government services, and the proposed land use is government services, and whereas there are improvements and the property has ingress and egress for adequate traffic services, the proposed land is government services and is necessary to facilitate tribal self-determination and government services. Now therefore be it resolved by the legislature of the Sisseton Potawatomi Nation that a resolution supporting the fee to trust acquisition application to the Southern Plains Regional Office of the Bureau of Indian Affairs and trust acquisition of the French 2 property is hereby approved.
This property is abuts the grocery store and Tecumseh on the west side. Between our wall and the wall of this office building is approximately 15 feet. We have needed to expand the sales area in our existing store in Tecumseh. This would allow us to move the back of house delivery and inventory storage area to the French property and expand the sales area of the grocery store into the existing back of house area. Chair would entertain a motion to approve the resolution as read. Motion made by Representative Schmidlkoffer. Is there a second? Representative Dave Carney. Roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett.
Konigay.
Vice Chairman Capps. Secretary Treasurer Trousdale Konigay.
Konigay.
Representative Whistler.
Konigay.
Representative Adame.
Konigay.
Representative Payne.
Konigay.
Representative Johnson.
Konigay.
Representative Dave Carney.
Konigay.
Representative Wesselhoff. Representative Barrett. Representative Kraft. Representative Spillkofer. Representative Bowden. 15 in favor, 1 absent.
Next, Resolution 1142 NR approving the fee to trust acquisition application of the BIA and requesting trust status on the on-reservation, non-gaming Cecilia property. If you could read that into the record, please, Secretary Treasurer Trousdale.
Resolution 11-42-NR, a resolution approving a fee to trust acquisition application to the Bureau of Indian Affairs and request for trust acquisition of the non-gaming on-reservation Cecilia property. First six whereas are the same as read in the previous resolution. Seventh whereas, the property is on reservation or within the former reservation boundaries of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation, legally described in Attachment A and listed in the Potawatomi County Treasurer's records as parcel ID number 0000-36-010-003-0-054-00 Cecilia Tract. And whereas the property was purchased with tribal funds for non-gaming use, and whereas the Citizen Potawatomi Nation owns the service rights to the property in fee simple, and the land is currently not under lease, and whereas the current land use is agriculture, and the proposed land use is agriculture, and whereas there are no improvements and the property has ingress and egress adequate for traffic services, the proposed land use is agriculture and is necessary to facilitate tribal self-determination and agriculture. Now therefore be it resolved by the legislature of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation that a resolution supporting the fee to trust acquisition application to the Southern Plains Regional Office of the Bureau of Indian Affairs and trust acquisition of the Cecilia property is hereby approved.
This acquisition will allow us to soften the slope on the west side of the RV park when we're into developing that area. This was a piece that basically squares out the P-Corps trust acquisition, which is the property immediately west of it, to the fence line that you see on the map there. That is the western boundary of Fire Lake that's being dug across the creek. Chair will entertain a motion to approve the resolution as read. Motion by Representative Eva Marie Carney, seconded by Representative Payne. Roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett.
Konigay.
Vice Chairman Capps.
Konigay.
Secretary Treasurer Trousdale. Konigay. Representative Slavin.
Konigay.
Representative Eva Marie Carney.
Konigay.
Representative Whistler. Representative Adame.
Konigay.
Representative Payne.
Konigay.
Representative Johnson.
Konigay.
Representative Dave Carney.
Yeah.
Representative Wesselhoff.
Konigay.
Representative Barrett.
Okay.
Representative Kraft.
Konigay.
Representative Spilkoffer. Representative Bowden. 15 in favor, 1 absent.
15 in favor, 1 absent. It is approved. Next is Resolution 1143 NR, resolution proclaiming and designating a bridge as the Citizen Potawatomi Nation's priority for needed replacement, improvement, and or reconstruction. If you could read that into the record, please, Secretary Treasurer Trousdale.
Resolution proclaiming and designating one bridge as the Citizen Potawatomi Nation's priority for needed replacement, improvement, and or reconstruction. First three whereas are the same as read in previous resolution. The fourth whereas, the Citizen Potawatomi Nation has determined a need for replacement, improvement, and or reconstruction of the following bridge in Potawatomi County identified as Highway 102 at North Canadian River, NBI number 05040, location north at McLeod, Oklahoma. Whereas the above identified bridge was built in 1936 and has a current sufficiency rating of 34. And whereas the Citizen Potawatomi Nation has determined it is in the best interest of the nation, the foregoing identified bridge project be approved for replacement, improvement, and or reconstruction. And whereas the Oklahoma Department of Transportation estimates the total cost of the replacement for this bridge to be approximately $4.5 million. And whereas the Citizen Potawatomi Nation explicitly waives the 638 process for completion of this bridge project and instead requests the Bureau of Indian Affairs to act on its behalf through the IRR Bridge Program in coordination with the Oklahoma Department of Transportation. Now therefore be it resolved by the legislature of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation that a resolution proclaiming and designating the foregoing bridge project located within Potawatomi County as a priority for needed replacement, improvement, and/or reconstruction is hereby approved.
Is there a discussion? Chair will entertain a motion to approve the resolution as read.
So moved.
Motion made by Vice Chairman Linda Capps. Is there a second? Seconded by Representative Lisa Kraft. Roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett.
Koenig.
Vice Chairman Capps.
Koenig.
Secretary Treasurer Trousdale. Koenig. Representative Slavin.
Koenig.
Representative Eva Marie Carney.
Okay.
Representative Whistler.
Yay.
Representative Adame.
Koenig.
Representative Payne.
Koenig.
Representative Johnson.
Koenig.
Representative Dave Carney.
Koenig.
Representative Wesselhoff. Representative Barrett. Representative Kraft. Representative Svenskoffer. Representative Bowden. 15 in favor, 1 absent.
Next is it is approved. Next, Resolution 1144, TCNA authorizing and supporting the nation's grant application for funding under the FY 2011 Tribal Historic Preservation Office Grant Program. If you could read that into the record, please.
Resolution 11-44-TCNA, a resolution authorizing and supporting the Citizen Potawatomi Nation's application for funding under the fiscal year 2011 Tribal Historic Preservation Office Grant Program. First three whereas are the same as read in the previous resolution. The fourth whereas, the National Park Service has allocated fiscal year 2011 funds for the development and operation of tribal historic preservation offices under the provisions of the National Historic Preservation Act. And whereas the Citizen Potawatomi Nation first authorized drafting and submission of an application to the National Park Service for Tribal Historic Preservation Office status via Resolution 03-1. The Citizen Potawatomi Nation Whereas this will be the fourth year for the implementation of the Tribal Historic Preservation Office, whose duties include Section 106 review and compliance, survey and inventory of tribal lands, and public education of historic preservation. Now therefore be it resolved by the legislature of the Citizen Park that a resolution authorizing and supporting this nation's application for funding under the FY 2011 Tribal Historic Preservation Office Grant Program is hereby approved. Now therefore be it further resolved that by act of this resolution and consistent with the separation of powers defined in the Constitution, if awarded, an appropriation of federal funds up to $75,000 from the Tribal Historic Preservation Office Fund for the implementation, negotiation, operation, enforcement, procurement, settlement, and/or completion of this contract, compact, regulation, or agreement by the tribal chairman or his designate is hereby authorized.
Is there discussion? Chair will entertain a motion to approve the resolution as read. Is that a motion for approval or discussion, Representative Carney?
Chairman, as a question,
Yes.
if I may, I realize I actually do not know who our Tribal Historic Preservation Officer is at this point in time.
It's Kelly Mosteller, who
That
is
is?
the new director of the Heritage Center. She is a tribal member, recently hired, just finishing her doctoral dissertation at the University of Texas. Extremely bright and capable young lady. She is taking over as the TIPO, they call it, while we had a vacancy in that area. And this is to designate her in her new capacity as director of the Heritage Center.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Chair would entertain a motion to approve the resolution as read. Motion made by Representative Dave Carney, seconded by Representative Johnson. Roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett.
Koenig.
Vice Chairman Capps.
Koenig.
Secretary Treasurer Trousdale. Koenig. Representative Slavin.
Koenig.
Representative Eva Marie Carney.
Koenig.
Representative Whistler. Representative Adame.
Konigay.
Representative Payne.
Konigay.
Representative Johnson.
Konigay.
Representative Dave Carney.
Konigay.
Representative Wesselhoff.
Konigay.
Representative Barrett.
Konigay.
Representative Kraft. Representative Spindlecoffer. Representative Bowden. 15 in favor, 1 absent.
15 in favor, 1 absent. It is approved. Next, Resolution 1145, TCNA, supporting the nation's application for funding under the Institute of Museum and Library Services, FY 2011 Basic Library Services with Education Assessment option. If you could read the resolution into the record, please.
Resolution 11-45-TCNA, a resolution supporting the Citizen Potawatomi Nation's grant application for funding under the Institute of Museum and Library Services fiscal year 2011 Basic Library Services with Education Assessment Option Program. First three whereas are same as read in the previous resolution. Fourth whereas, the Institute of Museum and Library Services Native American Library Services Division through the fiscal year 2011 funding cycle is soliciting grant applications to assist Native American libraries to maintain core library services and operations. And whereas there are 2 sub-grants to which applicants may apply, the Basic Library Sub-Grant and the Education Assessment Sub-Grant, and whereas Citizen Potawatomi Nation is submitting a grant application for funding under both sub-grants, and whereas funds from the Basic Library Sub-Grant and Education Assessment Sub-Grant will be used for continuing education and training of library staff to attend workshops and seminars, now therefore be it resolved by the legislature of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation that a resolution supporting the Citizen Potawatomi Nation's Institute of Museum and Library Services grant application is hereby approved. Now therefore be it further resolved that by act of this resolution and consistent with the separation of powers defined in the Constitution, if awarded, an appropriation of up to $7,000 from the fiscal year 2011 IMLS Basic Library Services Fund for other applicable accounts for the implementation, negotiation, operation, enforcement, procurement, settlement, and or completion of this contract, compact, regulation, or agreement by the tribal chairman or his designate is hereby authorized.
I am having some camera trouble.
Yeah.
That was good.
Mr. Bishop?
I thought Vernon might be up there today. She probably didn't know better.
There we go.
I thought Vernon might
We
be
got
up
something.
there.
My self-view is this camera back at Chuck. No, it's not. All you have to do is walk up and it fixes itself. Thank you. Next is, I would entertain a motion to approve the resolution as read. Motion made by Representative Bobby Bowden. Is there a second? Second by Representative Paul Spindlecoffer. Roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett.
Konigay.
Vice Chairman Capps.
Konigay.
Secretary Treasurer Trousdale. Konigay. Representative Slavin. Representative Eva Marie Carney.
Konigay.
Representative Whistler.
Okay.
Representative Adame.
Konigay.
Representative Payne. Representative Johnson.
Konigay.
Representative Dave Carney.
Konigay.
Representative Wesselhoff.
Konigay.
Representative Barrett.
Konigay.
Representative Kraft. Representative Spindlecoffer. Representative Bowden. 15 in favor, 1 absent.
15 in favor, 1 absent. It is approved. Next is Resolution 1146 TCNA, grant application to the Native American, Native Hawaiian Museum Services grant program entitled Keepers of the Fire Phase 3. If you could read that into the record, please.
Resolution 11-46-TCNA, a resolution authorizing and supporting the Citizen Potawatomi Nation's application for funding Under the fiscal year 2011 Native American Native Hawaiian Museum Services Grant Program entitled Keepers of the Fire Phase 3. First three whereas are the same as read in the previous resolution. Fourth whereas, the Institute of Museum and Library Services is soliciting grant applications for its funding opportunity entitled Fiscal Year 2011 Native American Native Hawaiian Museum Services Program. And whereas the proposed project will supplement and enhance the newly redesigned main exhibition hall within the Cultural Heritage Center with educational and interactive digital displays focusing on the history, culture, and spirituality of the Sitson Potawatomi Nation, both via traditional and contemporary lifeways. And whereas the Sitson Potawatomi Nation is now proposing Phase 3 of the exhibit redesign, including material purchasing and installation of the digital displays in the main exhibition hall. And while cost sharing is not required, the Sitson Potawatomi Nation commits in-kind contribution in the amount of $12,500 for the proposed Keepers of the Fire project. Now therefore, be it resolved by the legislature of the Sitson Potawatomi Nation that a resolution authorizing and supporting the fiscal year 2011 Native American Native Hawaiian Museum Services grant application entitled Keepers of the Fire Phase 3 is hereby approved. Now therefore be it further resolved that by act of this resolution and consistent with the separation of powers defined in the Constitution, if awarded, an appropriation of federal funds up to $50,000 from the fiscal year 2011 IMLS Native American Native Hawaiian Museum Services Fund and $12,500 cash or in-kind from the enterprise income or other applicable accounts for the implementation, negotiation, operation, enforcement, procurement, settlement, and or completion of this contract, compact, regulation, or agreement by the tribal chairman or his designate is hereby authorized.
Is there discussion? Chair would entertain a motion to approve the resolution as read. Representative Westlaw?
Yeah, I'm just curious, the $12,500 that's not required, but that we're doing it in kind, or is that to make the application more attractive, more likely?
We get extra points.
Conagay.
Representative Eva Marie Carney.
Konigay.
Representative Whistler.
Conagay.
Representative Adame. Representative Payne.
Conagay.
Representative Johnson. Representative Dave Carney. Representative Westlaw. Representative Barrett. Representative Kraft. Representative Spindlecoffer. Representative Bowden. 15 in favor, 1 absent.
15 in favor, 1 absent. Representative Adame, I think what is happening is your microphone is a little bit out of its threshold range for voice activation. If you could move it just a little closer, I think it may come on for us. We didn't get your voice.
Okay, thank you.
There we go. Thank you.
All right.
Next is a resolution approving transportation for tribal members to attend the 18th Annual Potawatomi Traditional Gathering hosted by the Hannahville Indian Community in Wilson, Michigan, and monetary support for the host community. This will include the bus charter from here to Wilson, and I believe there is, we plan on staying in Escanaba, or they're going to stay in Wilson?
It looks like that might stay one of these places, I don't know.
I believe the accommodations are, the hotel accommodations are in Escanaba, and then we'll take the bus back and forth to Wilson, which is about 4 or 5 miles. Not very far. That hotel at Wilson is not real large at their casino, so it probably full. Is there any further? I'm sorry. Yes, if you could read that into the record, please, Secretary Treasurer Trousdale.
Resolution 11-47-TCNA, a resolution approving transportation for tribal members to attend the 18th Annual Potawatomi Traditional Gathering hosted by the Hannahville Indian Community in Wilson, Michigan, and monetary support for the host community. First three whereas are the same as read in the previous resolution. Fourth whereas, The Citizen Potawatomi Nation desires to show their support of the 18th Annual Potawatomi Traditional Gathering hosted by the Hannahville Indian Community in Wilson, Michigan. And whereas this gathering will be held August 10th through 14th, 2011, and will provide traditional teachings and cultural activities. And whereas the Citizen Potawatomi Nation desires to provide transportation to and from this gathering in an effort to encourage participation by tribal members, whereas the Citizen Potawatomi Nation also realizes the expenses related to an undertaking of this magnitude and desires to offer financial support to the hosting tribe. Now therefore be it resolved by the legislature of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation that a resolution approving the chartering of a bus to transport tribal members to the 18th Annual Potawatomi Nation Gathering, Potawatomi Traditional Gathering, and a monetary donation to the host is hereby approved. Now therefore be it further resolved that by act of this resolution and consistent with the separation of powers defined in the Constitution, if awarded, an appropriation up to $15,000 from the general account or other applicable accounts for the implementation, negotiation, operation, enforcement, procurement, settlement, and or completion of this contract, compact, regulation, or agreement by the tribal chairman or his designate is hereby authorized.
Of the $15,000 appropriation, $5,000 of it is being sent to the Hannahville Indian community to help defray their costs. This is the same amount that Hannahville sent to us in our last hosting. Is there discussion? Representative Eva Marie Carney?
Just a quick question. Thank you, Chairman. Are these dates pretty much set? It seems like this is a bit longer than I had recalled the gathering being in the past, August 10th through 14th. Are those sort of the outside dates, or do you have any other information?
That includes the travel days. The tradition is from the lighting of the fire to the extinguishing of the fire and the handing off of the coals is 4 sunrises. They'll have the fire started as we're traveling the first day. I believe that travel day is one portion of it. The gathering is traditionally Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but it's evolved into primarily the Friday, Saturday activity days. But if you wanted to be there for the lighting of the fire, you would need to be there at dawn on Thursday.
Okay. Got it.
Is there further discussion? Chair would entertain a motion to approve the resolution as read.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Representative Paul Wesselhoff, seconded by Representative Dave Barrett. Roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett.
Koenig.
Vice Chairman Kemp.
Koenig.
Secretary Treasurer Trout of Koenig. Representative Slavin.
Koenig.
Representative Eva Marie Carney.
Okay.
Representative Whistler.
Koenig.
Representative Adame.
Koenig.
Representative Payne.
Koenig.
Representative Johnson.
Koenig.
Representative Dave Carney.
Koenig.
Representative Wesselhoff.
Koenig.
Representative Barrett.
Koenig.
Representative Kraft. Representative Spindlecoffer.
Koenig.
Representative Bowden. 15 in favor, 1 absent.
15 in favor, 1 absent. It is approved. Next is Resolution 1148. Out of the Judiciary and Public Safety Committee. If you could read that into the record, please, Representative Trousdale. I'm Secretary Treasurer Trousdale. Demoted you.
Resolution 11-48-J and PS. Resolution authorizing the donation of used police vehicles to the City of Maud, City of Tecumseh, City of McLeod, the Potawatomi County District Attorney's Drug Task Force, and/or the Potawatomi County Sheriff. 3 whereas is read, or same as read in previous resolution. The 4th whereas, the legislature of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation desires to support and work with local law enforcement endeavors, and whereas the local law enforcement is working with limited budgets to protect tribal and local property and ensure the safety of all local residents, including many Citizen Potawatomi Nation tribal members, and whereas the patrol cars under discussion are a 2007 Ford F-150, VIN number 1FTPW1 87KC29789 with 81,300 miles. A 2006 Ford Crown Victoria, VIN number 2FAFP71W66X141, 2,241 miles. The 2003 Ford Crown Victoria, VIN number 2FAFP71WX3X206133 with 89,167 miles, and the 2006 Ford Crown Victoria, VIN number 2FAFP71W66X140118 with 76,614 miles. These vehicles are no longer used as part of the tribal police fleet. Now therefore be it resolved by the legislature of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation that a resolution authorizing the donation of used patrol cars to the City of Maude, City of Tecumseh, City of McLeod, the Potawatomi County District Attorney's Drug Task Force, and/or the Potawatomi County Sheriff is hereby approved.
Is there discussion? Chair will entertain a motion to approve the resolution as read.
So moved.
Motion made by Representative Randy Payne, seconded by Vice Chairman Lindy Capps. Roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett.
Konigay.
Vice Chairman Capps.
Konigay.
Secretary Treasurer Trousdale. Konigay. Representative Slavin.
Konigay.
Representative Eva Marie Carney.
Konigay.
Representative Whistler.
Yay.
Representative Adame.
Yay.
Representative Payne.
Konigay.
Representative Johnson.
Yay.
Representative Dave Carney.
Konigay.
Representative Wesselhoff.
Konigay.
Representative Barrett.
Konigay.
Representative Kraft.
Konigay.
Representative Spillcoffer.
Konigay.
Representative Bowden.
Konigay.
15 in favor, 1 absent.
15 in favor, 1 absent. I might add that that gift resolution was facilitated by stimulus money that was given to us by the Department of Justice, allowed us to buy new squad cars. Police cars, we normally operate those cars well into the 100,000 mile range. Those are in really good shape, and they will be appreciated by the law enforcement agencies that receive them a great deal. Next is Resolution 1149, Judiciary and Public Safety Committee, authorizing approving and supporting the Citizen Potawatomi Nation's grant application for funding under the Department of Justice's Coordinated Tribal Assistance Solicitation to develop a comprehensive approach to public safety and criminal justice. If you could read that into the record, please.
Resolution 11-49-J&PS, a resolution approving and supporting the Citizen Potawatomi Nation's grant application for funding under the Department of Justice fiscal year 2011 Coordinated Tribal Assistance Solicitation to develop a comprehensive approach to public safety and criminal justice. First three whereas are the same as read in previous resolution. The fourth whereas, the United States Department of Justice Coordinated Tribal Assistance Solicitation has announced the availability of grant funds to improve tribal law enforcement and justice systems, with stipulation that these funds are available for a variety of specified purposes as outlined in 8 purpose areas. The Citizen Potawatomi Nation is eligible for and desires to apply for funding under 4 of the 8 purpose areas, Purpose Area 1, 2, 3, and 4. And whereas the Citizen Potawatomi Nation has experienced an increased need for enhanced law enforcement and justice services within the tribal community for several reasons. 1, implementation of several provisions of the Tribal Law and Order Act of 2010, including but not limited to expanded sentencing opportunities. 2, construction of an additional health clinic, a family fun center, and a youth services facility. And 3, offender reentry support needs. And whereas Purpose Area 1, Public Safety and Community Policing, the Citizen Potawatomi Nation is proposing the addition of police vehicles with equipment and supplies for the Tribal Police Department at an estimated cost of $450,000 with no match required. And whereas Purpose Area 2, Methamphetamine Enforcement, the Citizen Potawatomi Nation is proposing the addition of a drug enforcement officer assigned to methamphetamine enforcement for the Tribal Police Department at an estimated cost of $150,000 with no match required. And whereas Purpose Area 3, Justice System and Alcohol and Substance Abuse, the Citizens of Potawatomi Nation is proposing an offender reentry program to be associated with the CPN Employee and Training Department at an estimated cost of $500,000. And whereas Purpose Area 4, Correction and Correctional Alternatives, the Citizens of Potawatomi Nation, is proposing a strategic planning grant to determine the feasibility of constructing a tribal justice center, including adult and juvenile correctional facilities, as well as tribal court facilities, at an estimated cost of $150,000. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the legislature of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation that a resolution supporting the Citizen Potawatomi Nation's grant application for funding under the United States Department of Justice Coordinated Tribal Assistance Solicitation Purpose Areas 1, 2, 3, and 4, as described above, is hereby approved. Now, therefore, be it further resolved that by act of this resolution and consistent with the separation of powers defined in the Constitution, if awarded an appropriation of no more than $450,000 from the FY 2011 Public Safety and Community Policing COPS program, no more than $150,000 from the FY 2011 Methamphetamine Enforcement COPS program, no more than $500,000 from the FY 2011 Justice Systems and Alcohol Substance Abuse BJA program, and no more than $150,000 from the FY 2011 Corrections and Correctional Alternatives BJA program or other applicable accounts for the implementation, negotiation, operation, enforcement, procurement, settlement, and or completion of this contract, compact, regulation, or agreement by the tribal chairman or his designate is hereby authorized.
Is there a discussion? Chair will entertain a motion to approve the resolution as read. Motion by Representative Eva Marie Carney, seconded by Representative Bob Whistler. Roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett.
Konigay.
Vice Chairman Capps.
Konigay.
Secretary Treasurer Troutman. Konigay. Representative Slavin.
Konigay.
Representative Eva Marie Carney. Representative Whistler. Representative Adame.
Okay.
Don't forget the delay. Representative Payne.
Konigay.
Representative Johnson.
Here.
Representative Dave Carney.
Konigay.
Representative Wesselhoff.
Konigay.
Representative Barrett.
Konigay.
Representative Kraft.
Konigay.
Representative Spindlecoffer.
Konigay.
Representative Bowden.
Konigay.
15 in favor, 1 absent.
15 in favor, 1 absent. It is approved. Next is 1150, Judiciary and Public Safety Committee, approving the procurement and placement of traffic stop signs on reservation. If you could read this into the record, please.
Resolution 11-50-J and PS, a resolution approving the procurement and placement of traffic stop signs in Potawatomi and English at intersections throughout the Citizen Potawatomi Nation's on-reservation lands. First three whereas are the same as read in the previous resolution. Fourth whereas, the Citizen Potawatomi Nation is committed to the promotion, perpetuation, and fostering of the use of the Potawatomi language and of Mano-Widok Tolkien, a good community spirit. And whereas significant numbers of Potawatomi citizens, as well as members of the public, travel to the nation's roads to obtain government services and conduct business with the nation, visit friends and family, and engage in other daily activities. And whereas procuring and placing traffic stop signs printed in both the Potawatomi and English language in the heart of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation's on-reservation lands will help promote the Potawatomi language, foster pride in our citizens, and promote the Mano-Widok Tolkien Minto, a good community spirit. Now therefore be it resolved by the legislature of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation that a resolution directing the procurement and placement of traffic stop signs printed in both Potawatomi and English languages at the intersections located throughout the Citizen Potawatomi Nation on reservation land is hereby approved.
That word will be Gego, accent Goge. Goge. Accent grave over the E. will be the Potawatomi word that we're going to use in the interest of brevity. Is there discussion? Chair will entertain a motion to approve the resolution as read. The bill was introduced to committee by Representative Randy Payne. He's the sponsor. Is there a second? Second by Representative Dave Carney. A roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett.
Konigay.
Vice Chairman Capps.
Konigay.
Secretary Treasurer Trousdale. Konigay. Representative Slavin.
Konigay.
Representative Eva Marie Carney.
Konigay.
Representative Whistler.
Again.
Representative Adame.
Konigay.
Representative Payne.
Konigay.
Representative Johnson.
Konigay.
Representative Dave Carney.
Konigay.
Representative Wesselhoff.
Konigay.
Representative Barrett.
Konigay.
Representative Kraft.
Konigay.
Representative Spindlecoffer.
Konigay.
Representative Bowden.
Konigay.
15 in favor, 1 absent.
15 in favor, 1 absent. It is approved. Next resolution, 1151. If you could read that into the, this is on enrollment, relinquishment. If you could read that into the record, please, Secretary Treasurer Troutdale.
Resolution 11-51-LCNE, a resolution acknowledging the voluntary relinquishment of Lauren Ashley Carlisle. First three whereas are the same as read in the previous resolution. The fourth whereas, Lauren Ashley Carlisle, 89RD107191, has through formal request submitted her relinquishment with the Citizen Potawatomi Nation on January 31st, 2011, under Title II, Chapter 1, Section 2-1-1D of the Membership Ordinance of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation. And whereas Lauren Ashley Carlisle states and attests to the fact that she is enrolling with the Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma, and whereas Lauren Ashley Carlisle has voluntarily relinquished her tribal membership in the Citizen Potawatomi Nation, now therefore be it resolved by the legislature of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation that a resolution to acknowledge the voluntary relinquishment of Lauren Ashley Carlisle from the Citizen Potawatomi Nation in compliance with Section 2-1-1D of the Membership Ordinance of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation referendum enacted February 2nd, 2008 is hereby approved.
Chuck? What's her family? Oh, no. Okay. Thank you. Is there discussion? Chair will entertain a motion to approve the resolution as read. Motion made by Representative Schmidlkoffer, seconded by Representative Johnson. Roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett.
Konigay.
Vice Chairman Capps.
Konigay.
Secretary Treasurer Trousdale. Konigay. Representative Slavin.
Konigay.
Representative Eva Marie Carney.
Konigay.
Representative Whistler.
Again.
Representative Adame. Representative Payne.
Konigay.
Representative Johnson.
Konigay.
Representative Dave Carney.
Konigay.
Representative Wesselhoff.
Konigay.
Representative Barrett.
Konigay.
Representative Kraft. Representative Spindlecoffer.
Konigay.
Representative Bowden. 15 in favor, 1 absent.
15 in favor, 1 absent. It is approved. Next is a resolution acknowledging the voluntary relinquishment of Crystal Dawn Davis.
Resolution 11-52-LCME, a resolution acknowledging the voluntary relinquishment of Crystal Dawn Davis. First three whereas are the same as read in the previous resolution. The fourth whereas, Crystal Dawn Davis, 89RD104819, has through formal request submitted her relinquishment with the Citizen Potawatomi Nation on January 21st, 2011 under Title II, Chapter 1, Section 2-1-1D of the Membership Ordinance of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation. And whereas Crystal Dawn Davis states and attests to the fact that she is enrolling with the Chickasaw tribe, and whereas Crystal Dawn Davis has voluntarily relinquished her tribal membership in the Citizen Potawatomi Nation, Now therefore be it resolved by the legislature of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation that a resolution to acknowledge the voluntary relinquishment of Crystal Dawn Davis from the Citizen Potawatomi Nation in compliance with Section 2-1-1D of the Membership Ordinance of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation, referendum enacted February 2nd, 2008, is hereby approved.
We probably ought to amend that resolution to say Chickasaw Nation on that next to last one. Is there discussion? Chair will entertain a motion to approve the resolution as read. Motion made by Representative Bowden, second by Representative Adami. Roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett.
Donegay?
Vice Chairman Capps.
Donegay.
Secretary Treasurer Clousdale. Donegay. Representative Slavin.
Konigay.
Representative Eva Marie Carney.
Donegay.
Representative Whistler.
Konigay.
Representative Adami.
Okay.
Representative Payne.
Konigay.
Representative Johnson. Representative Dave Carney.
Konigay.
Representative Wesselhoff.
Donegay.
Representative Barrett.
Donegay.
Representative Kraft. Representative Spindkoffer. Representative Bowden. 15 in favor, 1 absent.
15 in favor, 1 absent. It is approved. Next is Resolution 1153 of enrollment into the membership of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation. If you could read that into the record, please, Secretary Treasurer Troutdale.
Resolution.
Could point out here that we are enrolling Representative Randy Payne's first granddaughter in this resolution, and we will have an extra original for you, Representative Payne, to present to her family, for her parents, or for your use, or whatever you choose to do with it. And congratulations.
Resolution 11-53-LCE. A resolution of enrollment into the membership of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation. First 3 whereas are the same as read in the previous resolution. The fourth whereas, the following people have requested enrollment in the tribe and meet the requirements for membership as set forth in Article 3 of the Constitution of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation. Allison Ann Carr Gazelle, Mary Ellen Clymer, Gail Elaine Hutchison, Arthur William Lloyd, Christine Lucille McCorkindale, Denise Aline Gardner, Haley Dawn Morris, Kyle James Morris, Christina Brogan Patterson, Ethan Raymond Shaw, Caitlin Elizabeth Anderson, Lauren Alexandria Anderson, Kendra Ann Anderson, Bradley Allen Cockrell, Brooke Danielle Cockrell, Charles John Coleman IV, Orrin William Coleman, Lindsay Marie Costa, Haley Elizabeth Collins, James Thomas Collins, Clara Renee Collins, Alexis Lee Corum, Michaela Paige Corum, Novalee Ray Corum, Paisley Adele Corum, Isabella Hope Cosby, Dalton Brady Eugene Cosby, Eli Ray Cosby, Christy Ann Cox, Ava Raylene Curley, Christy Michelle Fields, Kylan Rain Hammonds, Carson Lee Hannock, Lexi Jade Hudson, Alyssa Rayanne Kilo, Julie Ann Keister, Tyler Joseph Breckenridge, Mason Clay Breckenridge, Trevor Lewis Crutil, Noah Anthony Crutil, Chase Dalton Lambert, Taryn Sebastiano Lentini, Hania Nakai Maxwell, Surreal Malai Maxwell, Michael David Burris McKinney, Sky Elise Milo, Atlee Grace Naughton, Karis Violet Naughton, Jennifer Lynn Myers, Coleman James Ober, Mitzi Rose Olson, Kimberly Rose Shelton Johnson, Kylie Lene Overton, Aubrey Lene Overton, Mallory Elizabeth Porter, William Michael Renke, Jeffrey Thomas Rezak, Alex Brent Rezak, Molly Christina Ritchie, Stephen Richard Summerfield, Cameron Logan Spalding, Jordan Gregory Vore, Kian Toraj Philip Varel, Bailey Elizabeth Wolf, Michael Owen Wright, Andrew Hayden Wright, Jackson Scott Wright, Joey Allen Yacht, Emery Ann Anderson, Jennifer Lynn Bates, McYah Renee Bibb, Layla Ann Gicotti, Mason Warren Comer, Mackenzie Grace Comer, Caden Michael Comer, Kira Hope Comer, Alexa Lauren Cook, Emma Jo Crisp, Skylar Emmett Coots, Lexi Jovi Coots, Titus Emmett Coots, Ava Marie Cortez, Maya Elena Cortez, Kelsey Faye Deffel, Justice Thomas Donahue, Aiden Cole Downey, Cade Robert Dunning, Glenna Jean Elkins, Jessica Suzanne Felix, Davion James Flowers, Jaislyn Yvonne Flowers, Justin Boyd Gansel, Logan Boyd Gansel, Dakota Lane Garver, Rayleigh Genova Garver, Shimmer Jetsi Gerard, Josephine Claire Gimigliano, Jacqueline Grace Gimigliano, Kimberlyn Sue Gomez, Jessica Nicole Gomez, Jordan Alexandra Gomez, Lindsay Danielle Gomez, Jacobo Fernando Addison Gomez, Blaine Mason Harden, Quilla Raquel Jean Harden, Lorenzo Ishmael Fijas Quintino Hernandez, Mizictino Hernandez, Angelina Joy Jimenez, Michael Anthony Carrillo, Katie McKenna Ivy, Christopher Jonathan McKnight, Christopher Jonathan Knight, Riley Lynn McCready, Kylie K. McMillan, Jason Lynn Mercer, Zachary Lynn Mercer, Michael Eli Mercer, Natalie Jane Middleton, Brianna Michaela Paul, Evan Beasley Brewer, Amanda Layton Parrish, Julia Janice Schultz, Rhea Ann Seward, Emily Michelle Stites, Amanda Nicole Stites, Davis Gavin Stites, Maya Lynn Story, Maybelle Louise Benson, Brandon Taylor Walker, Sherry Lynn Yoakum, Nicole Lynn Prather, Alexander Ray Prather, Zachary Ryan Prather, Leland Vincent Richardson, Stacy Dawn Schultz, Ethan Lee Richardson, Sydney Michelle Smith, Dennis Daniel Smith, Charles Cash Williams, Bradley James Witt, Elizabeth Ann Henry, Eric James Henry, Stephen Bruce Lotta Jr., Christopher Jaron Leary, Brent Allen Lovett, Brianna Lynn Lovett, Grace Mackenzie Olive, Dominic Francois Peltier, Michaela Marie Phillips, Aubrey Ann Phillips, Wendy Mae Bradfield, Haley Noel Corey, Brandon Scott Bradfield, Gavin Russ Dubs, Sierra Lynn Dubs, Samuel McCahey Dunham, Jacob Uriel Felix, Joseph Charles Felix II, Brianna Marie Henderson, Bradley Wade Lancaster Jr., James Keith Buford, Karen Elizabeth Buttry, Hope Elise Albers, Samuel Joseph Katzenberger, Serena Faith Nohano Davis, Gabrielle Grace Davis, Essence Doroya Carey, Jane Marie Hassan, Caitlin Jane Kelly, Jack Douglas Kelly, Anna Marie Hassan, Tiger Lily Ann Horton, Mary Elizabeth Emmonshu, Connor Wrigley McGuire, Hunter Ray McCallan, Eveloy Dawn Longo Medeiros, James Gabriel Eugene Medeiros, Audrey Marie Morrison, Allison Elizabeth Robinson, Austin Todd Roth, Jonathan Kristen Trout, Jordan Claire Casey, Landon Nicholas Casey, Hayden J. Casey, Hayden Lee Casey, Baby Boy Garrett, Charles Dwayne Paxton, Andrew Tyler Paxton, Andrew Tyler Paxton Jr., Ian Thomas Sutton, Shania Renee Mills, Raven Karen Tatum, Natalie Denise Jones, Tiffany Elizabeth Grudem, Amber Elizabeth Grudem, Heidi Dawn Grudem, Haley Nicole Hester, Hannah Noel Hester, Henry Harold Hester II, Scott Patrick Hill, Preston Stanley Pocock, Felix Francisco Ramon. Now therefore be it resolved by the legislature of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation that a resolution enrolling the above named persons as enrolled members of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation who have, by virtue of the written request for enrollment, agreed to the obligations of such membership and consented to the authority and jurisdiction of the government of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation and are now entitled to all benefits and privileges of the citizenship in the Citizen Potawatomi Nation as prescribed by law and tribal custom is hereby approved.
Randy, which one's your granddaughter there?
Emma Jo Chris.
Chairman, I'd like to make a comment.
Representative Barrett?
Looking through here, there are 5 sets of twins. Cortez, Prather, Richardson, Doves, and Payson.
Really? That's probably a record.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Most twins we've ever enrolled. Yes.
I'd just like to clear one thing up here on Baby Boy Garrett. Baby Boy Garrett right now is up for adoption, and that's the current issue what the adoption parents do.
I had a solicitation for a very capable parent looking for a child. Do we have any input in that?
You have to testify to that.
Okay, thank you. And is that entered under the Indian Child Welfare Act that we get follow-up to that?
I know that this is, I believe that this is licensed as a
Okay.
but they were in the process of, a couple was in the process of adoption.
Okay. Any other discussion? Chair would entertain a motion to approve the resolution as read. Oh, I'm sorry. Representative Eva Marie Carney.
Thank you, Chairman. Just because Mr. Clark is there, I just wanted to thank him for regularly sending out the letters that he sends out to our new members. I've gotten a couple of calls as a result of those from people that know that I'm their representative because he sent the letter, so I really appreciate that. So thank you, Mr. Clark.
You're welcome. If all of the legislators, want letters sent out, just send me a draft, and I'll be more than happy to mail them out to the enrollment.
I thought I had, but maybe I don't have it now. I did have it a long time ago.
Chair would entertain a motion by Representative Randy Payne to sponsor this resolution. Is there a second? Second by Representative Paul Wesselhoff. Does anyone else have relatives on this, close relatives on this that needs an original of the resolution? Motion made and seconded. Roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett.
Konigay.
Vice Chairman Capps.
Konigay.
Secretary Treasurer Trousdale. Konigay. Representative Slavin.
Konigay.
Representative Eva Marie Carney.
Konigay.
Representative Whistler.
Hey.
Representative Adame.
Konigay.
Representative Payne.
Konigay.
Representative Johnson.
Konigay.
Representative Dave Carney.
Konigay.
Representative Wesselhoff.
Konigay.
Representative Barrett.
Konigay.
Representative Kraft.
Konigay.
Representative Spindlecoffer.
Konigay.
Representative Alvin.
Konigay.
15 in favor, 1 absent.
15 in favor, 1 absent. It is approved. Next is Resolution 1154, the appropriations. I'm sorry. And the chair would entertain a motion to table this in keeping with our previous discussions until we can provide additional documentation to the members of the legislature. Motion Representative Randy Payne, seconded by Representative Wesselhoff. Roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett.
Konigay.
Vice Chairman Capps.
Konigay.
Secretary Treasurer Trousdale. Konigay. Representative Slavin.
Konigay.
Representative Eva Marie Carney.
Okay.
Representative Whistler.
Conagay.
Representative Adami.
Conagay?
Representative Payne.
Conagay.
Representative Johnson.
Conagay.
Representative Dave Carney.
Conagay.
Representative Wesselhoff.
Conagay.
Representative Barrett.
Conagay.
Representative Kraft. Representative Spindlecoffer. Representative Bowden. 15 in favor, 1 absent.
15 in favor, 1 absent. Next, Resolution 1155, Appropriations Committee as a whole. Resolution approving the 2011-2012 annual budget for submission to the General Council. If you could read that into the record, please, Secretary Treasurer Trousdale.
Resolution 11-55-APP, a resolution approving a 2011-2012 annual budget of $701,000 from the estimated earnings and interest on program money from judgment funds awarded by the United States Court of Claims, subject to approval by the General Council pursuant to Article 5, Section 3 of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation Constitution. First three whereas are same as read in the previous resolution. Fourth whereas, the Secretary of Interior approved the transfer of trust fund responsibility to the Citizen Potawatomi Nation and its wholly owned enterprise, First National Bank and Trust Company. And whereas the Secretary of Interior approved a trust fund management plan for the First National Bank and Trust Company, and whereas the approved plan dated November 1996 requires annual budgets to be prepared by the tribal legislature for approval by the General Council in accordance with acts of Congress cited in the tribal constitution and the federal statutes specific to the Indian Claims Commission, within which trust funds and earnings from trust funds retain their original tax-exempt characteristics. And whereas the legislature has prepared the annual budget, which will commence July 1st, 2011 and end June 30th, 2012. Item 1, legislature's compensation, $192,000. Item 2, legislative district office operations, subset A, office lease, deposit, utilities, rent. B, furniture and supplies. C, communications. D, travel. E, executive project supervision, $339,000. Item 3, tribal meeting expense, subset A, meeting expense. B, travel. C, North Texas Regional Service Center plans. D, executive project supervision, $140,000. Number 4, trust certificate investment project, subset A, printing. B, legal opinion. C, mailings. D, executive project supervision, $30,000. The total budget, $701,000. Whereas saving in any one line item may be utilized for expenses involved in any other line items, now therefore be it resolved by the legislature of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation that a resolution authorizing the election committee to place the above budget on the ballot for consideration at the June 25th, 2011 General Council meeting is hereby approved.
Is there a discussion? The Chair will entertain a motion to approve the resolution as read.
So moved.
Motion made by Vice Chairman Linda Capps. Is there a second? Seconded by Representative Bobby Bowden. Roll call, please.
Chairman Barrett.
Conagay.
Vice Chairman Capps.
Conagay.
Secretary Treasurer Trousdale. Conagay. Representative Slavin.
Conagay.
Representative Eva Marie Carney.
Conagay.
Representative Whistler.
Conagay.
Representative Adami.
Payne?
Representative Payne.
Conagay.
Representative Johnson.
Conagay.
Representative Dave Carney.
Conagay.
Representative Wesselhoff.
Conagay.
Representative Barrett.
Conagay.
Representative Kraft.
Conagay.
Representative Spindlecoffer.
Conagay.
Representative Bowden.
Conagay.
15 in favor, 1 absent.
15 in favor, 1 absent. That concludes our agenda for today. We thank you all for being here, and hope that our mechanical processes on the broadcast are improving as we go along. Representative Whistler?
Yes, Chairman, I'd like to thank 2 of my constituents very publicly. As you know, I'm very much involved with the American Indian Chamber of Commerce in the state of Texas, for the state of Texas. I was elected vice president of that organization this year. However, in addition, Benton Hall has agreed, he's a member of our tribe, he's agreed to also serve as a director in a corporate capacity on the board. And Michelle Munoz, who's another one of my constituents with Burlington Northern Santa Fe, was instrumental in getting Rick Foley, their regional director of medical environmental health, to also serve on this board. I do want to thank Michelle and Benton Hall publicly for helping us with this organization.
Thank you, Bob, and we congratulate all of you there in Texas on your efforts with the American Indian Chamber there. It's a great organization. The Andersons were very active in that for a while there. I guess they still are.
They give us great financial support. In fact, the Potawatomis have been very, very proactive with this organization for many years. We have a good name in this community with that organization.
Great. Thank you, Bob. Any other announcements? Thank you all for being here. I'm sorry, do we have Representative Donnie?
I'll let Linda know. I don't know if she knew Mrs. DeVader that lives in the housing. Catherine, Dad's cousin. She lost her daughter this week to cancer. The